Mute. There you go. There you go. Can you hear me now? Hear me now. Hear me now. There you go. Right. So I'll start again. As men, we are men, and we don't always talk about our feelings as such. I think we disguise our uh, our emotions, our raw emotions, our negative emotions, sad things that make us feel sort of shit or could make us look weak. I think we disguise them. Well, I don't. I don't. I don't. I absolutely don't. I wear them on my heart, on my sleeve, and I think I make up for most of Britain when I can say I literally talk and talk and talk and talk for everyone. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about in terms of how we as men cope with that, because I'm not being funny, right? Something we've been talking about. I've been talking about a lot these last couple of weeks, and that is men who are going through family courts, yeah, and people who go through family courts. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now, right, Adam? You have to wait, and then you'll better hear me. It comes on. It does come on. You have to, as men going through family courts, what I've experienced and is not personally, it's not nice, because we can't actually express like the feeling hurt. There's no sound. We can hear you. You can get sound. You can get sound. 1 minute. I was on mute first of all. I was on mute. Then it does come in. It does kick in. You can get that. I would have typed it, but then there's obviously so many people now that have dropped off. He's like, oh, he's talking to himself again. He's talking to himself again. Oh well, shit happens. There you go. It says I was on mute. I said it 5 times. Magical. Right. So bear with me. Tell me when you can hear me now, Adam. Tell me, hear me now. Can you hear me now? Actually, let me just check on here. 1 minute. I want to just check on my phone. Can you hear me now? Hear me now. Is everyone caught up yet? Have you caught up? It's caught up on here. Well, so ultimately, yeah, it's about I'm just going to me while hopefully you can all hear me. Well, I can hear me. So yeah. It's about I'm just going to me. I can hear me. So it was muted. Can everyone hear me now? Oh, I'm assuming you can. All right. So the sound was shit at the start. We got caught up now. So there's YouTube, but there's everyone else listening as well. So anyway, so there we are. So where was I? So for me, going through family courts, and as a man generally, especially with how I was brought up, I suppose, in terms of Oasis, and I suppose I was sort of say I was with a target as a bully. I was bullied when I was younger. I suppose you could say that, because we were council estate kids and shit. No one wanted to speak to us or speak to me. But then we didn't have much of a skill set when it come to socializing with other people. None of us did as a family. But then ultimately, what people do judge you on is what you wear and what you clothes and what you labels and that sort of shit. And life's more difficult now for kids than what it was for us back then, because we never had the internet back then. So we couldn't have a look at our phones and be like, oh, look, it's like online bullying and that sort of shit. But I will say that over time, when I did get into money and working and buying clothes and labels and that sort of stuff, I got a bit arrogant and I got a bit rude, and there's a bit of a macho thing going on. And I think it still does it to a certain extent to people that don't know me, and to people who don't actually know me, and people who take the time to get to know me, people who I work with, people who I spend a lot of time talking to. They get to know me and they get to, oh, he's not as much of a weirdo as people might think. But it's the bravado, isn't it? It's the bravado. And let's use this as an example, right? Testicular cancer, right? I thought I had testicular cancer a few months ago, and um, I ended up not going to the hospital. I thought I had it for about 6 months, 7 months. What I thought I had it before. I actually decided to take action on it, and off the back of that, I had to be convinced to go to the hospital because it was manly. It was daunting, and it was like scary to think that someone's going to touch my bollocks and whatnot. But I did end up having the courage to go and do it. But then again, that was my manliness, and that's why men don't go and get themselves checked all the time. Same as there's another type of sort of thing. I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head, but there's another type of cancer, or whatever, that we avoid going to and that sort of stuff. But women are very good at going to the doctors and getting themselves them smear tests and whatever. So yeah, but then again, that's women. That's how we're cut. We're different. We're different. But anyway, less about that manly bravado, right? So we don't talk when you're going through this family courts, and the amount of people that I've spoken to that didn't even realise for one split second, that family law was the way it is for men. And you'll speak to some women and I've got them, I've met them, I've seen them, I've spoken to them. Some women in public law is more fucked up. And I've said this a lot now for a number of weeks. Public law in family law is more fucked up than private law. Private law, it's private. I mean, but then you fucked for there, especially if you've got which I'm very close to cracking a few cases now with, what they're called, them people. I can't remember. It will come back to me later. But I've got a few things that are really underhand, and we're gonna nail that. And I'm looking forward to doing that. So the bravado we have as men, we don't talk about our emotions, we don't talk about our feelings, we don't do anything of the sort. And that's partly because of historic men being the hunter-gatherers. That's what it is. And I was like, I didn't really have a dad, to be honest with you. So my dad was, I've said this to a few people now, my dad was pretty much Liam Gallagher. That's when I sort of found myself in Oasis, 1994. That's when I found myself. You wouldn't tell, would you? But that again sets a little bit of manliness. You have to be a bit, I was arrogant, I was rude, and I know I was rude to a lot of people. I still am sometimes. But then that's manliness in you again. Hunter-gatherer, hunter. And I think that's the man, right? But then the modern man, I think, has to adapt to society. And I think that's something I've done really quite well, because I didn't have anyone to teach me. So I had to watch what was going on around me, watch what people do, and learn from that. And I think that's something I've done, not to an art form, not nowhere near, but I've still got me from the back of it. And I can tell you all definitely, 100% for a fact, that if I didn't talk to a fucking phone, or didn't talk to a podcast, or didn't talk to whoever will listen sometimes, even myself, even the plant over there, that's why my plants grow so well, you see, because I talk to them, like Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle. So I talk a lot, and I just talk and talk and talk. And I talk about my feelings and emotions, and sometimes I cry a little bit, and that's what I put on this morning. It happened. It's like, and if it was something to do with what was it to do with? That's it. Site 1, 2, 3. This fucking bollocks took money out of my bank 10 days early. I'm like, it doesn't renew until 10th, which is tomorrow, and you're taking it on the 1st. And small print terms and conditions. To be taking it 10 days early. Well, falafels. It come out of my PayPal, and it pissed me off. So I'm trying to cancel that and do something else. And then this woman on the phone is being like dickish. And I was like, okay, you're being a dick. I'm getting frustrated because I'm trying to sort something out and I've got work to do. And I'm on the phone talking to you and you're being a dick. And it just all got on top of me. And I just started being like, oh, fuck. And the only reason it all got on top of me, because it was such a simple transaction, a simple thing to deal with, a simple thing to do. I just had to be a little bit more patient. But I wasn't patient Because at that moment in time, that particular moment in time, all I was thinking about was my daughter. And I'm like, you can hear me now because at least someone has answered. Thanks, Nick. Thank you. So all I was thinking about that particular moment in time was how much I was missing my daughter. I was like, and I was taking that out on the woman on the phone for something really simple. And don't get me wrong, she was moaning about the fact that she couldn't hear me on my phone. And I'm like, if anyone else complains about that fucking phone, and that phone was started pissing me off, I felt like throwing it across the room. But it's just like, but it was all, and it's like for that split moment, it was like shit. I had to, and I knew I could feel it, and you could feel it. And once you've been where I have been, and you can feel, and you sort of, there's something that kicks into you, like okay, and subconsciously, I now know I'm feeling that way, so I have to change how I behave. I have to sit down. I have to not talk. I have to just be quiet, and then let it pass. But that still doesn't stop the tears from coming. It doesn't stop you from. I was on the phone to this woman. She thought I was she thought I was she put the phone down on me. I'm gonna be honest. I was rude to her. She put the phone down on me, and then I had to call back, and then I was gonna speak to a guy, and then I just fucking. It was a mess. It was a mess. But that's always going to happen, and I'm cool with it because I know that I miss my daughter. I know that fucking since 2000, and I know that since 2013, 2014, life's been pretty difficult in terms of if you compare, and it's no different for me to what it is to any other man or anyone else who's going through separation. And as a man, it's generally us that will be made homeless. It'll be us that is nowhere to live, paying out money. If you're working, you're getting paid child maintenance. You're paying in beginning first instance. You're paying child maintenance. You're paying your mortgage. You're paying your rent, mortgage or rent. You're paying everything, and then your missus is at home or ex-missus is at home, and you're the one homeless, and you're still paying, and you're still holding down your job, and you're still doing everything else, and you're the one having to start your life again. And if you're anything like me, lots of people are, you literally have to start your life again, and that's what people don't get, and this is what people don't understand. You have to start your life again with nothing again as a middle-aged man. It's fucking daunting as hell. Especially if you've come from, I mean, I'm lucky. I've come from a background where you've got I had nothing. So I'm quite used to living with nothing. And the less I have, the happier I am. And I can get through a little bit more. But not everyone's like that. And that's why you get suicide. And that's why, I mean, when I first 2014, God, I don't even know how I managed to win store manager of the year that year. That was that was the thing that done me more than anything else. I've won this massive award that I didn't think I was going to have any chance of winning. I was homeless. I was homeless when I won that. And that again, to be able to hold down work, I was self-medicating hugely, massively self-medicating. Yeah, I was drinking a bottle of vodka, and anyone who works at 3 at the time was probably aware of it and probably had my back. But it was like the don't speak about it, but everyone knows about it. Jason's getting on the Jason disappear at 10 o'clock, go to the shop, buy a litre bottle of vodka, and then pour it into a bottle of Coke, come out to work with it, and just fucking drink it. And then I'd drink that during the course of the day. And then I'd have to travel from South London to North London on the trains and whatnot. I'm waiting for trains and shit. I've been drinking more beer there. And I was self-medicating massively. And I'm working, and what I'm really proud of though, what I'm really, really, really proud of though, is the fact that the people that I'm working with now, because of the errors that I've made and the things that I've done wrong, I'm able to sort of guide people to not make those same mistakes and speak from experience rather than from a book. And I think that's really important. I can't make everyone man be comfortable talking about their feelings. I mean, I've got someone I'm speaking to later, and he's gone through a really tough time. He's gone through a massive tough time. Like kids moved out of the country and all that sort of stuff, and potentially being abused physically. And it's not nice, man. And he's having to literally hold it together. And it's impacted his health. It's impacted everything. Everything. He's lost weight, as we do, but he still won't cry. And I'm fortunate enough. I started crying for him when we were in court, and I said this to everyone. Whenever I'm in court, when they're doing a finding of facts or they're doing a contested hearing, whenever it gets to that final hearing, I'm like, when the judge is doing all the summing up, I'm like looking at the sky, because it just takes me back. It takes me back to the same feeling, the same thoughts, the same everything, the same anxiety. The judge says loads of nice things about that person, then loads of nice things about you. Then they say loads of bad things about you, and then they say loads of bad things about that person. And you don't know. It's a bit like X Factor. You don't know whether they're going to be giving you the kids or the order that you want, or going to give it to her, or vice versa. And it's like, and that feeling that I get, and I'm not even doing it for my own child. And I'm doing it for there with other people's, and it's like that there is intense. And I don't give a damn what anyone says. Like, you're going through rebuilding your life, starting your life again, losing everything, being in a more difficult world than what we were in before, a much more difficult world, earning less money. Money has less value, but it's equally as important. In fact, more important than ever. Even though it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We don't need money to live. We can live off nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's why I love India, because you look at India, and this is where my inspiration comes from, to be honest with you. And I'm lucky that Bandana, like, I went to India with her, because if I didn't go there, I would not know like what good. And that's why I love it about the Indian culture, and I like that whole culture is literally they have nothing, and then there's no, like we've got over here. You've got corruption over here, fucking massively, and in India as well. Don't get me wrong, but you've got like no middle class. You've got it or you haven't got it. And if you haven't got it, you're on the streets and you're sleeping on the streets. But even when you're on the streets, sleeping on the streets, sleep. Even when you're doing that, the kids have got a smile on their face. And they come up to you going, da, 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 and money. And they're still, and I bought loads of people's shoes, and I got told off for giving them all money and shit. There wasn't even that much money. A pound, or was it 10 potatoes or whatever? It's like £10 there. It's like £1 here. And I was thinking, I was upselling myself and all sorts. But ultimately, if you have nothing, what that taught me there is you can always look on the bright side. You can always, there's people living in the shanty towns. When I went to India, I wanted to walk around the worst places, the most what do you call it? They're not touristy. Yeah, they're not touristy places at all. And I wanted to go there and feel it. And I was fucking feeling pretty shit myself. But life wasn't that bad then. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't that bad. It was bad. It wasn't that bad. But because when you see what other people are living in sheds and shit, I had a roof over my head. As long as my rent gets paid each month, as much of it be a mortgage, absolutely. But as long as that gets paid each month, and I'm able to save a little bit of money towards getting back on the being a homeowner again. And as much as some people might say that's not really important being a homeowner, but it is to me, because I'm a council estate kid. So I wanted to break that chain, and I wanted to get away from what I do, and I have got away from that whole my family sort of I wouldn't change where I've come from. I wouldn't change it at all, and I'd probably change my family, but then it wouldn't make me who I am today. So I wouldn't change anything. But it is what it is, and we have to keep moving forward. Anyway, I'm talking too much again. I'm doing the whole digressing. But then again, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I do. I have some really good conversations. I have some really, really, really good conversations with some men, and like some clients and whatnot. And it's like, they'll have those conversations with me, and I'll speak to strangers. I speak to literally strangers on the phone, right? And they're like, oh, I can talk to you. I'm like, well, good, that's good. I don't talk to anyone else, and I'd much rather people talk to me than talk to anyone else. And I know I'll get busy and I can't always answer the phone, but I've got a plan for that. I'll tell you that in a minute. But I've got you can't. The amount of time I've said to people, oh, call me, and don't stop calling me. They send me a text message, and they said, Jason, you should call me. I'll answer the phone to them, especially if I'm saying I'm busy and I can't answer the phone to them. I'll answer the phone to them, and especially when they say someone sends me a text message. This goes out there for everyone. You send me a text message, SMS, old-fashioned text message, right? You send me a text message saying, Jason, it's urgent. Urgent is the key word, right? Then I will, because I know it's urgent, I'll make sure that I'm available, even if I'm on the phone, even if I'm in court, I'll get someone else to make sure that they're available for you, because we need to be there for each other. And again, that's probably why the whole man bravado thing is probably why, as a men's rights movement, we've not been able to get anything properly moving forward, collaborating with other people, collaborating with other genders, like, with women's, like, like I do with Vic and like family court superheroes. Yeah, people have got their own agendas and they want to put their own ideas forward, but they're all the same thing in different words, and we've all got the same one goal. But men can't do that. It has to be their idea, blah blah. And I used to be like that. Now I'm a little bit more humble, I would say a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit more. Enough humbleness to be humble enough. Yes, that's that bit. So we're going to talk about keep wearing your heart on your sleeve. Now, men, mate, if you can't talk to every single man, you can't go to the pub and start having a laugh with your mates. Of course you can't. Not everyone you can, but there must be men within that you can, and everyone I would hope has got a friend or someone you can turn to that you can confide in and literally empty your heart out to and not be judged. And that in itself is difficult because I've done that many, many, many times. Thought to myself, I trust everyone. I trust everyone. And because I trust everyone, it leaves me susceptible, open to being fucked over royally. And that does happen even with clients, would you believe it? Even with clients. Men clients fuck me over. Fucking get you to do loads of work and don't pay her. But then that's life. That's life. What can you do? You could. My accountant's like, Jason, you've got to do something. But I don't want to do anything about it. But we're making changes now because I have to, because I've been told I have to. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing. But that there in itself is again me being, I suppose, manly. But talking about your feelings again. That leads me to my next point. I had a bit of a positive. It's going to cost me money, but I had a positive phone call yesterday, right? So what's going to happen? For everyone who's going to be trying to call me, I've got a receptionist in my pocket. Literally, she gives me a hand, everything I do, hand in everything I do, and she's a receptionist in my pocket, and she doesn't even touch my pen. So, yeah. So what's happening is I'm going to have a group of people. I was meant to do it today, but I was too busy. A group of people that are actually paying to answer my calls, and they're diverting my calls for me. Anytime I can't get to the phone, they're going to be getting to the phone. They're going to be answering them for me, and then they're going to be booking appointments for everyone for me. And obviously that's going to be costing me money, but I'm doing that, and that's why I'm doing it, to invest back into what I'm doing, to give people a better level of service and to help as many more people as possible, because that's what has to happen. That's my purpose. I would also want to say that in the group this morning, earlier this afternoon, when I did that video, or this morning or this afternoon, when I did that video, one thing I've always been pleased of, even if it was this group or another lifetime of a group, the amount of love that you got in the room, the amount of love you got in that group with people supporting and helping each other, and just being there, giving someone a sort of hug, a virtual hug, I think is really powerful, really powerful. And I think thanks to everyone for their kind words and thoughts. That's what I've got to say for that. And I think that's about it. I was going to keep it at 20 minutes. I've done 20 minutes, 25 minutes, which is, talking 5 minutes too much, but that's what it is. I just want, I will keep talking. I don't care, and I will keep crying. And if I get emotional, I'll cry. I did it last week on the Zoom thing. Oh my god, how embarrassing was that? We did this Zoom thing last week. It was meant to go live on Facebook as we were doing it. I don't even think it's been aired yet. So the amount of hours that we were on the phone, we were talking. People were talking there for hours, and it was good. And it was really good listening to people and hearing other people's stories and situations. But it was painful at the same time. It's really painful because you sit there, and I don't often. It's only when you think about what you're missing, and you think about your daughter, or you think about your kids, that you sort of think. And if you think too much, I don't know if people can relate to that, but if you think too much about it, you end up crying or getting emotional, and it's like fuck. So I don't think about it at all because that's why I work so much. And if you're not working, it's self-medication. So I'm like, I don't self-medicate. I have the odd beer, but I don't self-medicate to the extremes that I have been previously. And because I'm over it now, I don't self-medicate at all. I have a couple of beers, that's it. But the last time I got drunk, I think you were all aware of it. The last time I got drunk, I went and weed in someone else's toilet. Everyone knows that, don't they? It's common knowledge now, isn't it? That was the last time I got drunk. Yeah, but if it wasn't common knowledge, it is now. So I found myself weeing in someone else's toilet the last time I got drunk. So I've not been drunk since then, actually. So I tend to have a couple of beers a day, and that's it. Not even a couple of beers a day. Sometimes it's just water. Sometimes I'm rehydrating. Anyway, so what was it I was saying? So rehydrating, water. I've lost myself again. I've digressed too much. What can you do, eh? That was it. Anyway, that was it. I think I've had my time. That was it. No, it wasn't. Let's come back to it. Let's have a moment. Let's have a moment. Oh, happiness. Men talking about their feelings. I will keep talking about my feelings. I will keep being emotional. I will take the emotion. I will take everyone else's emotions as well, and I will support as many people as I can, because that's my purpose. Because that makes me what makes me feel better. Oh, I can tell you as well though. These people, Vic, what are they called? These people, the handshake people, the golden handshake people. What are they called? When they do everything around you, they do everything for you. What are they called? Good evening, Max. Good evening. What are they called? They're called. I can't remember. But they're basically For example, I've got a couple of cases. I could list them all. I've got 4 or 5 cases where the judges have been colluded with the solicitors because they are all corrupt and all in this together. So they will get to sit there and do your whole day's hearing or a whole 2 days hearing, knowing what the result is already, and then they'll make you feel that you've done something good and you're getting close to it, but then not give it to you. And then, do you get to see your child or Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So, Cara, yeah, do I get to see my child or children now? Yes, I do. I've got. This is the worst thing. I've got a shared care agreement. I've got a shared care arrangement, and my daughter's 13 now, and it's. I suppose I have missed Masons. That was it. Masons. That was it. Whoever said that, Masons. That's it. Masons. Thank you. So yeah, I've got a shared care agreement. I've managed to get. I've been to court multiple times, more than one hand, with my ex-wife, and got to be careful what I say. But yeah, I've got a shared care agreement, and because of the age of my daughter, the last time I went there, I said it needs to be all about Lila, whatever she wants. She's old enough to make her own choose where she wants to be, and where she wants to stay. And that's what she does. And as painful as that is for me sometimes, when she's 13 going out with her mates, she's a woman, so she's going out with them, spending a lot of time with her mum, because I put recitals all over the court order, or the judge did for me. Lila gets to choose what she wants, but the time is supposed to be made back. But because I don't argue with I tend not to argue with her. I don't speak to her, don't get the opportunity to argue with her. She shouts at me for everything still. COVID was my fault. World famine, running out of food on the shelves in the shops. That's my fault. Everything's my fault. Anything that goes wrong will be my fault. And that in itself takes a lot of headache because it's not my fault. But when you're dealing with someone with narcissistic behaviors, you have to accept that you have to deal with them a little bit differently. And even though you are saying it doesn't bother you, or yes, you're right, or yeah, or in my case, I just don't even argue. Say yeah, whatever. Every time I tried arguing my point, even when there was a court order in place and Lila was younger and Lila didn't really have a voice and couldn't say what she wanted, the court order would change to suit what she wanted. And if I wanted to change, it'd be like, no, can't have that change. I can't have that change. So again, I battled it for years. I battled her for years, and then I just stopped fighting. I think that pisses her off even more. That I just accept whatever's coming. I just accept it. And it's not Lila's fault that she's a teenager. What was I doing when I was 13? I was not as well behaved as her, and nowhere near as well behaved as what my daughter is. And I'll give my ex-wife credit. I'm not saying she's a bad mum. I'm saying she's a good mum. I think. I'm not sure. I think a good mum encourage the relationship, wouldn't they? Encourage the child to go to see the dad. A good mum would be like, yeah, we've got this plan this week, not make plans every fucking weekend. Same as she did when Lila was at school. She'd plan for after school clubs every night of the week. And it's like, why? For what reason? And so I spent, I lost my botheredness to even fight after the first battle, the first case, which is always the worst case. Whenever you go to court, if you're just going through the process now, it's your first time. When you're just going through court, you need to realize, that you're going to change after this experience, but it's going to tear the hell out of you. The first case is always the worst case because that's when all the shit comes out. If there's something to say, if they can remember it, they'll say it. Yeah. High corruption, yes, and Masons, high corruptions and Masons. I'm going to come on to that in a sec. But if you look at it, for my situation personally, I was able to do fuck all. And so I've got a relationship with my daughter. It's a very close relationship with her. It's tough at the moment because she's a teenager and she is heavily influenced. I mean, since lockdown, the relationship's been less and less because I was in Watford. Now I'm back in South London. It's meant to be easier, but since I've been back in South London, I've actually seen my daughter less, which is bizarre because it was meant to be more, and the court order says more. And ever since I've had the court order, it's been less. But I'm not. That's it, Freemasons. That's it, Freemasons. That's this. So the ever since I've had the court order, it's been less. My most recent court order should have more. But again, I'm not arguing about anything. I just get what I'm given. I just take what I get and be done with it, and try and make every time I'm with Lila as good as it can be. That's that really. Anyway, I don't even think about myself. Look at that. I'm not crying today. Freemasons, right? High level corruption. That's right. So we're going from me to Freemasons. There's a number of cases that I'm working on or working with people on, and literally you can go in there and you can have one hearing, and then the court order will come out and it will say something totally different to what was actually said in that whole hearing itself. Yeah, and that's fucked up when that happens. And I've had it happen to me once myself personally when I was Mr. Matt O'Connor was my Mackenzie friend, and he basically taught me this stuff as well. So give him a little bit of respect, a lot of respect, but you know, you could take my stuff off the internet, which has Lila on it still. If you want to do that, man, that'd be great. But if you look at, then you get your transcript. We got my transcript come through, totally different to what the court order said. And then who writes the court orders? If it's not the judge, it's the other person's solicitor, right? It's the other person's solicitor, and if the other person's solicitor is writing the court order, you should by rights always get a copy of the draft order to approve it or disprove it. If you don't receive a copy of that draft order, regardless of the fact that you're litigant in person, you should always ask for it. Whenever you're in court, ask for the draft order to be sent to you. Regardless of if you're litigant in person or not, you want it sent to you. Even if you've got a solicitor, get the thing sent to you. Always get it sent to you. And then you get approve it, disprove it. Or approve it, or say, no, this is wrong, that's wrong. And then it gets sent back to the judge. The judge has the final say on it anyway. And if it's all corrupt, and like in some of these cases they are, and it's getting more and more, to be honest with you, if they've got more money, the more money your client's got, the higher the chance of, not your client, your client's partner has got, the higher the chance of it being corrupt and Freemasons all over it. Little secret handshake, little secret this and that. And it's like, it's all done. And I've been in a couple of cases where the judge says one thing, specifically one thing, and then it's not even on the court order. You try and dispute, we send communication to the courts to try and get a response, nothing. Silence. We then email solicitors and we get a quick response back, going back to the court. And that's happened on three occasions this week now, 3 occasions. And they're all similar in terms of the actions of the solicitors and the case in itself. So that's that. So anyone else has got any of those sort of cases, I would love something really bad to happen to me just because like the Freemasons come and take me out or something like that, like just because I'm getting so close to cracking some Freemasons. And once you've cracked it and I expose it, and I don't give a fuck, I will expose it. I will, if there's a case that I'm aware of and I'm a Mackenzie friend of and it's corrupt, I will take the risk and expose it. I have no issue with that because I have nothing to lose. And it's me that's doing it, not the person who's got the child. So it'd be me, it's my fault. So anyone's got anything like that at all, let me know because I love them. And I love pulling down the people who have got so much money. It's the ultimate, isn't it? They've got so much money, they're rich, they do what they want, they're untouchable. A bit like our ex-wives or ex-partners, the narcissistic ones, take the gender away from it. So it's not about gender. Narcissistic people can be narcissistic people. Doesn't mean it matter if you're female or male. And I know when you come into this group, when you first go through the process, you're totally against women. I was. That's why when we initially set up another group that was called something similar to this, it was we were always as just men only. And then we all got soft, and then we started letting women in. And then it's like next thing you know, if it wasn't for a good woman picking us men up when we were down, then we'd be fucked, wouldn't it? Because it wasn't for Vandana picking me up when I was down, then I'd probably be dead. If it wasn't for me talking to people like this, doing this now, I'd probably be dead. If it wasn't for me doing things that I enjoy, then I'd probably be dead. So when you're going through this shit, you've got to really find something that you enjoy. I've not talked to I've not talked to my daughter in months. Maddie, Sadie has not given up. I know they aren't letting you talk to me. You talk to me. Maddie, Daddy is not giving up. Oh, Daddy, that's all. Bless. Court is fuck all. The court do fuck all. You correct it. Yeah, the courts do nothing. The courts do absolutely nothing. You have to point out the obvious. Yeah, so common sense to you is not common sense to somebody else. I've been in situations where we've handed transcripts over, and there's blatant racism on the transcripts. No racism there. Get it away from me. But it is. It's got it all over it. No. It's not racism. What the fuck? So yeah, it's corrupt. It's crap, and limited as to what you can do, and that's what a lot of people find difficult. And that's one thing I've come to terms with quite easily. Is you have to fight your battles and choose your battles. Choose your battles carefully, because and that's another thing that pisses me off with. While I'm on the subject of choosing your battles, there's too many people battling with the wrong people. We're battling with each other, or you're battling with us, should I say, or you're battling with me, or you're battling with one of my colleagues or friends, where you should be fucking spending more time trying to fucking get done the corruption, rather than fucking trolling me or trolling everyone else or do whatever you do. That's what does my head in. People have got spend so much time hating on people who are getting closer to breaking things down and getting there. What, you getting upset because support us, support each other. If I bump into someone that I don't really think that highly of, but then they're doing well on something, wish them well, because it's very narcissistic when people are that fucking angry at you or don't even like you that much for not even knowing you, to try and pull you down and not celebrate your success when they want their success themselves. Yeah, so to all you people out there, you know who you are. Yeah, you've got my phone numbers. You've contacted people. You've contacted everyone else other than me. Call me. Court do fuck all. Yeah, some solicitors said that to me. Said they weren't receiving emails. Yeah, so this is the thing. This is, I don't know who that is. I can't see people's names in there, but there's people who are like, you send statements through. You send statements through. I've even had my email address blocked from some courts now, because they don't want to receive my statements. They want to make it as difficult as they can. Admin and Mackenzie Friend is admin, right? And as far as I'm concerned, unless you tell me otherwise, unless people tell me otherwise, in fact, 99% of the courts that I'm working, 90, well now it's gone down, about 95% of the courts that I'm working with, or have been to and not support the courts, but the clients in it, accept my statements on behalf of, or accept emails from me with the client's statements on it on behalf of the client. 95% of them, probably about 90% of them now, to be honest. And that's because the other ones have started blocking my email address. So it's like, why? And the reason why is because we've had good results in there in the past, and I believe that we're getting close to getting people who are doing dodginess, that are taking advantage of their situations. And you got people. There's people who have gone into Europe now, and they're getting EU laws to undo the corruption that is even as far as Hertfordshire, closest Hertfordshire for me. You've got London, Hertfordshire. Look, let's not forget. If you see the news, was it Pandora Papers or something like that? These Pandora Papers. If England are not corrupt, if England are that corrupt, in London that corrupt, and that's blatantly, that's what's hit the news, then imagine what's going on in family courts that they're not talking about. Yep, human. That's right, being human. Can't see who that is, but it's about being human. Just be human and just be you. That's the biggest thing. Take responsibility for your shit. Be honest. Be honest. Take responsibility. Challenge. You've always got to challenge, but it's about the right way of challenging, not with a heated, angry voice, not showing aggression, not showing emotion. So you see, when people were tearing me apart for being too emotional at the very start, I was literally not able to go to a meeting. I was not able to think about Lila. I was not able to go on my shop floor when I was as retail manager. I wasn't able to do anything without crying. Literally, I see a child fall down crying. See someone with black hair looks like Lila in the back, start crying. Be similar serving a customer walks in with a pushchair, start crying. Fuck me. Is he black? His face was like a teardrop. But literally, that taught me when the authorities were telling me I was crying too much, being too emotional, started putting my mental health into question. I then had to go to doctors and answer the questions the way the doctor wanted to answer the questions, the way I knew how to answer the questions or whatever. And then doctor says, no, he's fine, based on normal stress, based on fucking separation, this and that, whatever else, he's fine. But they try and pull your mental health into question, and then question your parenting ability again. But whereas when you're doing this, they were all doing something else altogether, and I'm not going to go into that at the moment. But it's been highlighted previously, so you just have to Google a few things and it's there. But that's that. I think that's it, really. I think I've talked too much. It's maybe 20 minutes, and I've got 20 minutes before I pick up the call to someone else that I was meant to pick up the call to yesterday. Stay strong, everyone. Keep giving love. I know I'm a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, but keep giving love. If you need any help with family court stuff, you've got family court superheroes, and you've got me. Family court superheroes forte is obviously the public law, and then I do more of the private stuff, but I'm involved with the public stuff too. Vicky's amazing. Whoever doesn't like Vicky or doesn't understand how much hard work she does and how much effort she puts in, you'd be silly you. I'm pretty much working all the time, and as much as people might say, "Oh, Jason, look after yourself. Jason, look after yourself," I do, and I am, and I know I don't get much sunshine at the moment. I've got more. I'm looking a bit pasty, like Casper the Ghost, but that's because I'm not getting sunshine. I do need to buy some vitamin tablets to make sure I go, or just get to a tanning bed, like one of them tanning beds. Just walk in there naked and just get the blue lights on you, the UV lights, and then like get brown again, or like get tanned. I might have to do that. But yeah, look after yourselves. Yeah, eat properly. Don't just eat Havabos. Have you got? You're doing well, Jason. Rabia, take care, darling. Take care. Same for me at the moment. Yep. Look, exposure helps cause. Yes, right. So basically, exposing corruption, I think is really important because once you crack one, then they have to change. They have to change because once you crack one, in theory, you should better crack another one. Or the behaviours link in the actions of how people behave all is the same. So the scenario might be situation might be different. It's different people, but the behaviours from the judge or the behaviours from the solicitor or the behaviours from the other person, that's all the same, and you can predict what's going to happen as and when it happens, and that's why I'm quite good at that sort of shit. I'm definitely going to go because I'm talking too much. And thanks for listening. Thanks for the kind words, and don't forget, if you're going for that patch, pick up the phone, call me. You don't want to talk to anyone, you just want to fuck it. What I do, my coping mechanism is just sit down, take a deep breath, either put the music on, or just sit in silence and breathe slowly, and the moment passes. And you might cry a little bit more, and you might get a bit emotional, but there's nothing wrong with that. You'd much rather be doing emotion, tearfuls, crying, than, well, for me, no matter how difficult life is, I need to live to make sure I can, hopefully one day, if my ex-wife would even fucking, bear in mind that when I thought I had testicular cancer, she was telling my daughter, "No, don't worry about it, we'll be fine without him, blah, blah, blah." So my daughter couldn't, if I had testicular cancer, my daughter wouldn't be able to grieve for me because my ex-wife wouldn't know. So that's the sort of shit that I'm worried about. So if my ex-wife wouldn't let her grieve for me, or doesn't want her to grieve for me, because I don't warrant being grieved for or being grieved over, would she allow me to be at the wedding? I mean, bearing in mind she didn't want me at the Holy Communion. Not Lila, my ex-wife. So this is what I'm saying. So that's my that's why I have to keep going. That's why I have to keep going, because I'm stubborn, I suppose, and I'm stubborn, and that's my daughter, and that's that. You know, I think many men didn't have, in the same boat as me. Lots of people I speak to, their dads were shit, and we didn't have kids to not be dads, and it shouldn't be this difficult to be a dad. Don't get me wrong. People make mistakes and shit, and no one's perfect. But if it's safe and you can prove that you're safe, and I've got a client who has a past and he's proven it safe, and he's done everything that anyone's asked of him, and it's not been a quick journey. That's been over like a 4 year period. Yeah, so when you made mistakes, there's still ways back in, but you have to be prepared to take ownership for your actions and show learnings from them as well. Vabi, you're cool. You're really, really cool, Vabi. I hope you're okay. I see your name. I can't see anyone else's name. That's a bit weird. But anyway, that's it. I've said I'm going to go loads now. I'm definitely going to go. Stay strong. If anyone needs anything from any of us, call in. So SMS urgent if it's urgent. 07883 959 195. 07883 959 195. Even if you hate me, call me and tell me you hate me. I'd much rather you call me than call anyone else. That's about it, really. I could talk for more, but I think I've said enough. Men, talk. Talk to your missus. Talk to your fine and close friend. Talk about your feelings. Try and focus on the positives, because there's always positives. Always. No matter what happens in life, there's a positive. Yeah, you can find a positive. Give me any scenario. Give me the worst fucking scenario in the world, apart from World War III, and there'd be a positive. I don't know if there was World War III. I can give you a positive. World War III would be a positive. People would stop moaning about vaccines. I've seen some fucking weird stuff on what's happening in Australia now. Jesus Christ, that's going to come over here. Yeah, don't let. That's one thing. Don't let. Everyone's going to get greedy soon. Everyone's going to get greedy. Everyone's going to start turning on each other. I've been saying this for weeks now. Weeks. Everyone's going to start turning on each other. It's going to be like Walking Dead. Yeah. Don't do it. If you see someone like needing help, help them. If it means you sacrificing something for yourself, sacrifice your own petrol, whatever the fucking thing might be, sacrifice it. If that person's in more need than you, let them have it. If I've got it, you can have it. If I don't have it, you can't have it because I haven't got it. And that's the same with everyone and everything. Yeah, and that's about it, really. Peace, love. Buyer's glove. Stay strong. Merry Christmas. Oh, it's going to be shit this Christmas, isn't it? That's fucking sure. But anyway, we will have fun because we're going to do something on Christmas Day like we did last year. In fact, it'll be better this year because it will be. I'm not going to charge for it. Maybe I might do a charge thing, but 1p. I'll keep your eyes open for that. Keep your eyes open for that. Much love to you all. Much love. I can't. No, you know who you are. You look after yourselves, yeah? Look after yourselves. Look after yourselves. Peace out.